It's much bigger than the robot.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 2015 FLL Kickoff. My name is Michael Adam. I'm the director for Central Valley Robotics. And thank you for joining us here today for our kickoff to our 2015 season. I wanted to start off by thanking each and every one of you. Your time coaching and volunteering your time to help these kids is what helps this program and makes this program exist. We can only do so much from our side to provide the resources, but it's you guys on the ground that are actually making this program possible. We had over 110 RSVPs for this year's event, and which is up from last year, so I'm very excited. And we currently have 93 FLL teams registered in our region, which is, given the current point in time, that's more teams than we've ever had. So that's very exciting and scary. So we might hit our registration cap this year, and we'll see where that goes when we hit the end of September. Just wanted to show everyone kind of where our region is based out of. Primarily, this is kind of our current region stats. We have a lot of Visalia, Fresno, and Clovis presence, and a lot of these areas are new that are starting. Carruthers, Riverdale, Sanger are new teams that are forming this year. So really excited to see the growth and where this is expanding in the region. So today is the kickoff. So we got my presentation here this morning, and we have our breakout sessions, which are the green blocks there. This is the MPR, and then the band room is actually through those doors on the north side, and you're going to walk down the hall to the band room. The sessions information is on the back of the flyer that was available at, or it's 2 pages. For me, it's duplex. There's 2 pages as part of the flyer. If you were here as part of the first group, some of the initial paperwork was not properly collated, so do make sure you have the flyer that has the colored block on one side for one sheet, and then on the back you have some additional information. So make sure that you have those 2 pages. In some cases you might have gotten a duplicate of one of the pages. So lunch will be outside the MPR this year. We do have Locavoria coming to serve food. It's going to be we're going to get all these cafeteria tables out there, kind of have a networking lunch. We'll have some FRC teams out there to help create those mentorship connections. We'll also have bricks for kids out to show you some camps and stuff that are available that also deal with Legos and the Mindstorms platform. And finally, new this year, we're bringing the robot game Deep Dive to the kickoff. That will be held in the gym after the lunch hour. So this year's challenge is called Trash Trek. And we're looking at the future of trash. And what does that entail? Recycling, better ways to produce materials that reduce trash in the landfill. It's a very interesting and unique challenge that actually impacts everyone. We have a great group of people that are part of our project experts panel this morning, and they will provide some really good resources into where to go with this challenge. Wanted to take a step back here and spend a little bit for those that are new with us today. Talk about a couple slides on FIRST, FLL, and who we are here at Central Valley Robotics. In one slide, which is a very, very summarized view here, FIRST is a network of programs that cover ages 6 to 18. And for those students, it's the hardest fun they'll ever have. For mentors, coaches, and volunteers, it's the most rewarding adventure you'll ever undertake. And for sponsors, it's the most enlightened investment they could ever make. So who is this group called Central Valley Robotics? What are you guys? We are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to bringing the love of science and technology to our youth in the Valley through the FIRST programs. Technically, we are a division of Clovis Unified School District. However, you don't have to be part of Clovis Unified to be part of this program. We are also the affiliate partner with FIRST, which means that we are the organization responsible for implementing the First Lego League and Junior First Lego League programs in those counties on the screen. FLL is one of the 4 programs of FIRST. It's an exciting alliance between FIRST and the LEGO group, and teams of kids do 3 different things at a high level here. They program an autonomous robot to score as many points as possible on a thematic playing surface. As part of the robot game deep dive this afternoon, you will see that thematic playing surface. Creative, innovative solution to a problem as part of the project. The judging sessions we have today, as well as the project expert panel, will help with this regard. And then they do all of this while guided by the FLL core values. What are the FLL core values? These are the 8 governing ideals that kind of guide and drive what we do here in this program, in addition to the terms gracious, professionalism, and cooperation. We are a team. We do the work to find solutions with guidance from our coaches and mentors. We honor the spirit of friendly competition. We share our experiences with others. What we discover is more important than what we win. We display gracious professionalism and cooperation in everything we do. We know our coaches and mentors don't have all the answers. We learn together. And the most important core value of FIRST LEGO League, we have fun. We want our kids to have fun, and that's one of the most important things that we can do in this program. So let's dive into some specifics for this season. So some dates and registrations. A lot of these dates are in the season standards manual, but I will help make sure that all of this information is available. So we're estimating that the national registration period will close at the end of September, around September 28th. It will really close depending on availability of materials and whether or not FIRST hits its global capacity. Coach seminars, we're going to start these in late September and repeating every 3 to 4 weeks. We have not yet announced the dates for these. We're still investigating some options we have. September 29th at 6 p.m., that's the big date. That is when event registration opens for teams that have all their paperwork in. You can still turn in forms after the 29th, but you won't be able to register until the forms are in. October 23rd, all payments are due to qualifiers. So when you register for an event, there's an event registration fee, and those have to be mailed to qualifiers in advance. The deadline for this is the 23rd. And then on October 24th, coach badges and team names will lock. We'll export them from Team Connect at that time, and then prepare all the schedules for the season, all the signs and badges. So no new coach badges or team name changes will be reflected on any paperwork after that date. So let's jump into our list of events this year. As we posted on our website earlier this week, we will have 2 scrimmages this year. One will be on October 10th here at Buchanan High School, right across the way. And then we have one on October 31st at Clovis North High School, the trick-or-treat qualifying tournament. For our qualifying events this year, we have 5. The first one is November 7th at Central Unified. It will be at Glacier Point Middle School. We have the South Valley Robotics Qualifier in Tulare, held at the International Agri Center. On the 21st, we have the Duncan Dynamics Qualifier, held at the Duncan Polytechnical High School. We have the Buchanan Battle of the Nest Qualifier, which will be hosted at Buchanan High School. And then on the 12th of December, we have the Clovis North Qualifier. These are our qualification events, and one of the big changes that we announced back in May was that the championship was moving to February 27th. This opens up a lot more room in our schedule and a lot more flexibility, and allowed us to push some of our events back into December. The top 60 teams from the area will advance from the qualifiers to the championship, and you'll know during closing ceremonies on the qualifying days whether or not you have advanced. So let's talk about how event registration is going to work this year. For all of you returning coaches, it's the same process. Handled through Team Connect, not TIMS. So the national registration system is not what we use for event registration. It is our local software called Team Connect. To prevent some confusion, I just want to clarify that I will be closing the events in STIMS so that no one can register for those. Some questions last year about, oh no, did I miss the deadline? No, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just Team Connect. Spots will be filled on a first come, first served basis for every event. And the way that this is going to work is you'll pick your top 3 choices. That'll go into a queue, and then you'll be placed into the first event with available slots. It's kind of a load balancing mechanism we have there. Teams will be able to attend only one qualifier this fall, and then again, as a reminder, forms are due prior to event registration. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how advancement works from our qualifiers. There is something called the Champions Award criteria. The Champions Award is the most prestigious award a team can win at an event, and we use that same criteria to rank teams in order of for advancement. We're looking at a 40% advancement rate from our qualifiers this year. It'll really depend on the total number of teams that register for an event. If I have 168 teams in the region, but only 144 participate, that will change the advancement percentage. That will all be announced following when registration closes. So we'll see. That will be all announced later in October. So once judges rank teams based on the champions criteria, they start looking at them in each order. They walk down the list and look at each team individually. You're going to see 2 numbers on the website for each event. One is the number of teams that will be advancing, and then there's also something we call the robot game ranking cutoff. First specifies a specific algorithm that generates if you're advancing 40% of your teams, then they have to be in the approximately 70 to 80% of the robot game scores. So there's a ranking cutoff in the robot game. So if there's 24 teams at an event, you might have 12 advance, and you have to be in the top 19 teams of the robot game scores in order to be eligible to advance. There's more. It's explained in more detail in the season standards manual, but it's a brief overview of what that is. And as I said, they will both be listed on each event webpage on our website. So jump into some region and program updates. So the robot game rules, for all of you who have looked at them this year, you notice that they were completely rewritten from scratch. They are 60% shorter by word count, and there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in there. New ideas, new concepts. One thing that I will say, it is not possible to operate on prior knowledge of the robot game this year. It's very important to read those rules, understand them. There's a lot of terminologies that have changed. A good example is the definition of in. That has changed. It's not partly in, it has to be fully in now. So there's some changes there. We'll talk about all that in the deep dive this afternoon. There's some crazy new models this year. One thing first told us is if we ask teams to take a risk, then we should too. And there are some really awesome new models this year, and I'm really excited to see how teams are going to use them at events. First is also changing how the robot game Q&A process works now. They're decentralizing it, so they're wanting partners like Central Valley Robotics to start taking the load on answering the initial questions and then passing off any more complicated or crazy or we don't know the answer to first, and then they will answer and then disseminate it back down. So if you do have any questions, please send them to contact@cvrobotics.org. That's our main contact email address. It's pretty much on every flyer, PR thing that we have. And then there's a slight change on the type of questions that will be answered. This is kind of a quote from first a little bit. We're not necessarily answering strategies or legal use of strategies questions anymore. That's going to be that's shifting to teams to be able to justify it at the event day. The kids should be able to explain that to the referee and cite the rules that they're using to justify their strategy. So some more kind of region changes globally at our events, or regional at our events rather. We piloted this at Championship last year with our new team flags. We're going to be continuing that through all of our qualifiers this year. With that, there are some rules and stuff in the season standards manual regarding what you can do to those flags. I know in previous years teams like to tape them up and do stuff, but there's some specific rules regarding taping that, if not respected, will destroy the flag. And they're not necessarily trivial to make, and so we would like to be able to keep them year over year and work with our teams to help respect those materials. Practice tables. We have completely redefined practice tables this year. There's a lot of it in the season standards manual. I felt we did a pretty good job of explaining it. We've changed. There's a concept of an official practice table now, where you'll be able to sign up for slots through Team Connect prior to the event day, or sign up during the event day. Official practice tables will only be in the pits. Teams are not allowed to set up any more additional tables in the pits now. They have to be outside the pit area. And any additional tables that are set up on the event venue are considered open practice tables, and we encourage teams to share those tables, because not every team has the resources to bring their table to the event, and so it's important that we all make sure that teams have the opportunity to succeed. So this year, after some feedback from our judges over the past couple years, we are going to be removing the spectator allowance for the project session. So it's only going to be 4 coaches in all 3 judging sessions, and we're also, due to some coaches that were wandering around and causing some issues for our judges, we're going to be implementing an area for coaches to sit and be there for the duration of the judging session. It's distracting for our judges when the coaches are walking around behind them, fiddling with a camera on the desk, trying to film the kids, and we want to make sure that the kids have the best opportunity to succeed without any distractions in the room. This was in place for our championship last year, but we're rolling it out to the entire region. The Robot Design Executive Summary, for all of our veteran coaches, you know what that was, you know what that is. For all of our new coaches, it's not in the manual anymore, so you don't know what I'm talking about. That is now optional. However, the Robot Design Judging session is still required. We're just changing how that session is working. It's now just a full 10-minute Q&A. And we have some text in the season standards manual that explains how that room will work this year. We've introduced a new key volunteer at events, so we've had the judge advisor in previous years that has run all of the judging and is responsible for the finalizing of all of the awards and ensuring that the awards are deliberated per the FIR standards. We have the head referee, who's in charge of everything related to the robot game and officiating and any final calls on the field. And we have a new person called the head pit administrator. This person is in charge of queuing and all operations in the pits. This helps define a better responsibility matrix so that you know where to go as coaches to a key person to get information about what you need, and that person will then be able to interact with the head ref and judge advisor to help create better communication. So I did want to also reflect on some new sections we added to the season standards manual this year. First section is the core values concerns investigative process. There were some questions last year on how we investigate potential rule violations or core values stuff and any type of that. We've fully detailed how that process works now and the forms that are involved in that process. It rarely happens, but when it does, it's good to have a process in place to deal with it. We also added a full couple pages on how the deliberation process works. Based on our feedback last year, we wanted to make sure that we were transparent about this process and how it works. The judging sessions this morning will go a bit more into how this process works, but we do have quite a couple pages on there, including how data is entered and how data is evaluated in our deliberation software. There is a new award coming this year. It's called the Global Innovation Award. I guess I should say it's not technically new, but FIRST is changing how this award works. Previously, it was just handled on a global level. Teams would log into a website and apply. Didn't matter who they were, they could just apply with their project and their solution and to have it evaluated at the global level. FIRST is now changing this process so that it is handled at a regional level. So the Global Innovation Award is presented by the X Prize Foundation. It's a competition designed to showcase the real-world innovative solutions that FLL teams come up with. For the teams that advance all the way to the top 3 and the top 1, there's a $10,000 grant to actually get a patent for it. So it's a very cool process. And the way it's going to work is it's going to be moving to championships. and it's going to be based on the innovative solutions criteria at championships. We're going to have more information about how this is going to work, but there will be one team advancing from our region to the national judging process, and we'll announce that winner during closing ceremonies at the championship. So this does mean that you will have to have advanced to the championship to be considered for this award, but this is a pilot. This first is trying this out this year to see how well it'll work. We'll add a section on this in the season standards manual in the future update. It's not there right now because this whole thing got announced this week. So we haven't had much time to put it together. Wanted to spend a couple minutes here talking about our software called Team Connect. We've referenced it a little bit. It is our local software that we write. It's developed in-house. This year, earlier this week, we released the 4.0 version of Team Connect. I've heard good things about it so far, but the really cool features I wanted to highlight here. For all the veteran teams, we have a radically redesigned onboarding process that actually talks to the TIMS database. So if you already have an account that matches your TIMS account, it'll automatically import. There's no more security code needed. You can log in right now, and you'll see your teams. If you are a new coach or don't have an account with us, it will send you an email with a code. Just create an account, and then type in the team number and code, and it will allow you to edit and manage that team with our software in the region. For all teams that were confirmed registered by Sunday, you actually got your invite email. We're going to be doing another update run probably next week after we fix a couple bugs in the process. And those who have registered since Sunday have confirmed registrations with First will get your emails at that time. Brand new user interface with full mobile phone support. You can actually do everything on your phone now. We have a brand new form uploader interface. Previously it was scattered on like 3 different pages. Now it's one page that lists every form we need and upload fields for each one of those. And as I will be demoing in the online tool session, you can actually use your phone to take pictures of forms and upload straight to the website. So I think that's going to be a nice little plus for coaches this year. You don't have to scan in a computer anymore. We're moving all of our volunteer management to Team Connect as well this year, so for those who are volunteers, you won't necessarily have to go to VIMS anymore for that. And then if you manage multiple teams, you actually manage your own personal forms for your user account in a separate place, but those forms will apply to all of your teams automatically. So if you're a site coordinator with 6 teams, you only need to upload once, and it'll apply to all teams automatically, which is, I think, a nice benefit for some people who have 10 teams. So I got some final remarks here that I wanted to get into. Wanted to make everyone aware of our grant program we have. It's about we partner with Bricks for Kids to implement this program. It reduces the initial cost of FLL from $900 to $225. The only thing we ask teams to do is pay the national registration fee. We cover the field setup kit, and Bricks for Kids loans a EV3 out for the year. The deadline for applying is the 4th, so it's next Friday. And we have a page on our website. You can actually go to FLL, the FLL banner at the top, and then click the grants on the left, or just FLL/grants on our website. Please spread the word. We want to make sure we have the ability to grant 6 to 8 teams this year, and we'd like to be able to grant all of them. So I wanted to also encourage everyone here to think about potentially volunteering on event day for which you don't have any teams participating. For our coaches that have done it, it's one of the best ways to learn about how the other side of the system works, especially as a judge. We detail the deliberations process more in our season standards manual this year, but there's nothing like sitting through that process and understanding what the judges go through. They see teams for half the day, and then they're talking for the other half, evaluating teams and figuring out who they want to recognize for outstanding achievement. You're welcome, coaches, parents, coordinators, everyone's welcome to volunteer at any event we host. Depending on the role, there is some training required. We'll have more information on our website. It still has some of last year's information on it, but it's still very relevant to this year. When you are hovering over the FLL banner at the top, there's a whole column related to volunteering. We're also seeing if there's anyone interested in volunteering for those key roles I've mentioned, the judge advisor, head referee, and head pit administrator. We're looking to increase our sustainability and these individuals that we can recruit and train pretty much govern and are responsible for a given event day, and we would like to offer that out to the community to help recruit these individuals. Training and certification is required. They do go through a lot more training than a normal volunteer does because they are responsible. They make final calls on an event day. Please email volunteers@cvrobotics.org if you have interest or you know anybody who's interested. As kind of our almost last slides here, I wanted to let everyone know that we'll be sending 2 surveys. One is how we did today, and the second is we've got some proposals that we wanted to get out to coaches to see what you guys thought. We have a potential to do online-only coach seminars, which we might be able to do more frequently instead of having them in person. Hopefully, given that this technology we have here works today, we should be able to live stream the coach seminars this year. So we wanted to get some feedback on potentially doing online only, no in-person ones. And if we do hit the 168, we have to figure out how to add an event or two this season. And potentially we could investigate Sunday events. And I wanted to see coaches' availabilities and what people thought on potentially if they would be interested in attending an event on a Sunday. I wanted to make everyone aware that if there are any questions, you guys have anything during the season, any questions at all, don't hesitate to email us. If you have a question on maybe how the project's going to work, or maybe not your idea is valid, please email us. Don't hesitate. We want to make sure everyone has a successful season. Additionally, we have a Facebook group now for all of our coaches. There's a link available on our website, and it's been in our last couple email blasts as well. As a final remark here, I did want to let everyone know that we do have refreshments in the back that are free to take as you need today. We've got a lot of water. We're selling shirts, if anybody's interested. Those proceeds do go help us with our program. There are a bunch of old shirts, and there's a vintage shirt that has an interesting story behind it. They were lost for 10 years here at Alta Sierra, and we found them this year. So we're able to sell those off now. And then we have a bunch of PR materials, flyers, and handouts that you feel free to take and use to share, recruit others, or share with your schools as needed. That concludes my keynote this morning. I wanted to say let the trek begin. We'll start our the intro to judging session in here at 9:10, and then with the coaches Q&A will occur in the band room at 9:10 as well. So thank you all for coming, and I hope today is informative and useful. Thank you.